Hello and welcome to a Ceilidh Club special Spotlight edition, where we're talking to Alicia Storie, who is the founder of A Design Story. Before she did that, Alicia has a first class honours degree from Duncan of Jordanstone Art School and worked in London for 10 years in interior design. Now, hello, Alicia. Welcome to the Ceilidh Club Spotlight.
Thank you very much for having me, Ed. It's great to be
Well, you're very welcome. Now, I wondered, can you tell us what got you into design to start with?
My mum was very into art. So growing up, there was a lot of different crafts going on in the house, and I always wanted to be an artist. I would say, and then I came on to kind of explore interior design a little bit. And I studied art for a year, in fact, at Duncan Jordanstone on the general course. And then I went and dabbled with the interior design department because we were very encouraged to be interdisciplinary and go and check out other departments, which was great. So I then really fell in love with the interior design department and asked if I could switch over to that. So I did, and it felt like a wonderful fit. And I've been interior designing ever since then. So yeah, it's been good.
So you finished there and you got a first class honours degree, which is fantastic. And then did you go to London right away?
I did, yeah. It felt like I kind of blinked and then I was working in London. It was a very kind of it was a quick turnaround. I had a job interview on Thursday and then they said when he start and I said Monday. Chancing a little bit, and then they were like, fantastic. So I moved all my life from Scotland over to London and found a flat and started the job that Monday.
And this was the old days. This was a face to face interview you had, was it?
It was, yeah, it was. And yeah, it was really good fun to kind of see the projects that they were working on, and it felt very aligned with what I was doing at uni as well. So it was great. And
And what year was that?
so I graduated I left school in 2010 and then I graduated in 2014. So yeah, it was just around then, just after I graduated, I moved to London.
Right. Okay. And what was London like then, 2014, 2015?
It was great. I loved it. I know it's kind of I mean, a lot of people coming from Scotland can be like, "Oh, it feels quite big," but for me, it was very exciting. So much amazing design there as well. So it was great to be immersed in that, and then bring some of that back to Scotland now as well.
And
So
so you had 10 years down there.
I had 4 years in London. It's 10 years that I've been doing interior design essentially, and it was really great. I really enjoyed that chapter. I wouldn't swap it for sure. I
And
wish I
then,
was at Daily Club though. That would have been handy.
well, there you are. Shows our marketing still has to get a bit more reach to it. So 4 years. And then what happened after 4 years?
So I then decided that I wanted to. So my thesis at Duncan Johnson focused on designing a sustainable space. It was a sustainable supermarket and a community space. So what I wanted to do is, so when I was working in the industry, I saw firsthand the sheer amount of waste that was being produced. And for me, this kind of sat heavier and heavier as continuing in the industry. So I decided that I wanted to kind of come away from that, take a second, regroup. And at that stage, I kind of went back to the drawing board to be like, it's such a kind of hard decision because I love what I do so much. I'm so passionate about designing spaces for people. But it didn't quite sit with my values anymore. So I then decided to research sustainable design myself and see if there was a way to bring it to the core of the interior design process. So this led me to do natural building, where I was building structures with just sand, straw, soil, and water, and creating these beautiful organic structures which can become part of the landscape at the end of their use. Um, and this was really inspiring alongside doing other workshops around sustainable design and looking at examples of sustainable architecture. I then started looking for jobs within sustainable interior design and found that they didn't exist. So I decided to design my own job. And yes, I tested the water and I saw that there was so much there was so much demand for it because we all deserve and want to live in a home which is good for our own health and also for the planet. So that then led me to set up a design story, and that was almost exactly 5 years ago now. So yeah.
Wow. And so tell us then a bit about Design Story. What does it do and who does it do it for?
Yes. So essentially, what we do is we design predominantly homes with a focus on sustainability. So, for example, if a client comes to us, what we'll do is look at the existing space and we will suggest how to renovate it in alignment with the requirements which are needed with a lens of sustainability being central. So that could be the materials which are used within the space. It could be the layout of the space in order to reduce waste and design it very efficiently. And then also the overall styling of the space as well. So I know you're familiar with this term, Ed, but the term biophilic interior design essentially means looking into nature as a source of inspiration to build an interior design concept. So what is so incredible about this is it's the only proven interior design style which is which enhances well-being essentially. So it's a really beautiful approach and it creates this gorgeous immersive space which feels deeply connected to nature. So that's what I'll do with my clients. I will design biophilic spaces. I'll help them find the right sustainable furniture and guide them through choosing materials which are good for material health, so they don't necessarily have toxic chemicals like a lot of different paints do within them. And then also looking at how to create a sense of well-being within the home. So yes.
Okay, well that all sounds great, but I'm going to try and say biophilic design. Have I got it right?
Got it right. Yes.
Right. Okay. Great. Because anybody's people who are watching this, I think probably many people won't have come across that phrase before. But if I get it right, because I've heard it 3 or 4 times now, if I get it right, it's about trying to design a home that is in tune with the nature, and that you're bringing nature into the home effectively.
Right.
So there's more of a connection in the home with nature.
That's right, exactly. And it can be done in a very subtle way, but it's that same feeling that when we're outside and we feel very calm and relaxed and connected to the landscape, we're creating that same principle within the home. So referencing it through different interior elements to have a natural feel within the home as well.
And is that when you talk about the uh, making it in harmony with nature? Is it just any old nature, any old forest, or anything like that, or is it the nature that's close to the house itself or the home itself?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ed. So I tend to, for like when I have a site visit with a client, I'll go to the home, I'll look at the space itself and give some ideas on how to enhance it and to align with their requirements. And then I'll have a look at the local landscape as well. So if they have a garden, we could reference details within that and within the home, or if there's like a favorite walk. Often what I'll do is ideally I'll go there myself to really kind of have that immersive experience and then bring that into the design concept for the home. So it's very, very deeply personalized. It's not a generic design which your neighbor might have as well. There might be a specific memory in a specific place. And then that is the source of inspiration to then build this interior design concept and this visual identity to the home. So if you're in the home, you'll know all these little references. You'll know why the kind of chairs have a beautiful art element if that relates to the organic flower reference which you added, or the specific colors if they're aligning with the autumn kind of palette which aligns with lovely memories in the garden at that time of year. So essentially it's designing something which is not influenced by all the trends out there. It's turning that all off, focusing on yourself and creating something for yourself and for your well-being.
There are some people who, I guess, are lucky enough who have an interest in design and who get it and who can do some of this stuff for themselves. You know, people like decorating their house. There's lots of other people who will just go to IKEA and get some stuff and put it in because actually it's quite comfortable, it's straightforward, and if you can use an Allen key, then you're there and you've got your cupboard and you can get on with running the rest of your life and stuff. So I suppose my question is, it's quite intangible, the beneficial effects, or is it intangible, the beneficial effects that a biophilic approach to homes can have?
Yes, it is. Another kind of exactly what you're referencing with existing elements. If people have a space which is fitted out and it works, then a huge part of what I do is thinking about what can we keep? What can we enhance? Can we upcycle something? Can we renovate something? Can we bring in biophilic references, but still and change the elements which need to be changed in terms of functionality? But if something, for example, there's a kitchen which works perfectly fine, the aesthetic just doesn't align with the overall vision, then how can that be upcycled in a way to align with the biophilic references? So you've got that sense of well-being, but then keep the main kind of core elements of that to minimize impact on that side of things. So yeah, that there's that kind of balance of things, but essentially a biophilic design for me is very interweaved also within reuse. I'm absolutely not suggesting kind of a full redesign of everything. It can be woven into an existing space to give the maximum functionality and also well-being benefits.
I mean, that sounds great. I suppose for some people, when they hear the words interior design, I mean, you might think about Boris Johnson and gold wallpaper and things like this. It has quite a, well, I don't know. There are elements where things are often over designed. You go into a certain hotel and you can see there's no personality there at all, but they've got the gold laminated bit here and the flowery and all the rest of it. Or for instance, if you go into maybe say Prestonfield House Hotel in Edinburgh, you can see that it's been done with some thought and care, and it's a wonderful space. And it really makes you feel very different when you walk into a place that's been thoughtfully designed as opposed to a place where it's been interior designed in some words, but it's been stuff that's been stuck on in a shelf that's come out of nowhere.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
But some people might think that interior design is very expensive. Is it?
It doesn't have to be. It can. So I offer design consultancy as well as for full design services. So if people are looking for a full project from start to finish, if it's a build, I can support on that side of things. In a very kind of efficient way in terms of how to support. But then also I provide consultancy as well. So if people are looking for advice specifically on materials, maybe they're looking at their kitchen space, going back to that example, and they're trying to find the right materials. They could spend so many hours researching, trying to find ethical materials, which, but then I have a library within my studio and have done a lot of the legwork there. So essentially, it's kind of a very efficient way to do it is to engage and to kind of have the consultancy services to sort of support through the design process. So yeah, I do very high-end projects, and I also offer consultancy services to kind of make it approachable for different levels, because sustainable design, in my eyes, shouldn't be a luxury at all. Be the default for design. So yes, and I also offer workshops as well in sustainable design to kind of pull it out of specific projects and bring some of the kind of sustainable design tools and material suggestions out there as well. But going back to what you were saying about the different examples of interior design, I do think that the kind of main difference in what you're saying there, which is a very kind of good valid point, is thinking about the full experience, how people like fully engage with that rather than kind of having furniture items plonked like on the plan that work, then creating this immersive experience which every detail is considered, and it creates this beautiful story and feeling and an emotion when you're in it. And we spend so much time at home. It's a really kind of a beautiful kind of gift to give back to yourself, to create an environment which deeply aligns with your values and your personal preferences as well.
It's I was putting out the rubbish this morning and separating out putting it into my blue bin and my grey bin. And there's just a good feeling about doing that. And it's quite easy and accessible for me to do it. And it's why it works so well in the red bin with our box of shame, as we call it, which is all our alcohol recycled bottles, goes out as well. There is a feeling, but it's easy to do. And that's probably why it works.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is, and having looked at this a little bit, and it's why your company or the benefit of your company is that doing this as an individual is actually really quite hard to access this, partly because I guess materials are changing over time. What's available now wasn't available a year ago, and maybe vice versa as well. How does somebody who might have nothing, who might know very little about it, come to embrace this type of thinking?
Yeah, so I think that there's often, yeah, there's that kind of, that example is nice because when something is very directly tangible, like taking out the recycling, then of course you're going to choose that decision if it's a kind of a very kind of clear, easy output to do that. And yeah, I imagine if we have the option to have a sustainable home or not, then most people are going to choose a sustainable home. But then, yes, that kind of access to and to getting there to the end output. So yeah, essentially that's what my role is, to support in that process. As a kind of yeah, kind of checkpoint to kind of going through the design process. It can be very stressful renovating your home, living in a building site, having all these decisions that need to be made, materials that need to arrive in time for the next element of construction to happen. So yeah, essentially on that side of things, I'm there to support. And there are a lot of kind of nice, kind of tangible examples. So I created an installation at Dundee Design Festival last year, which was commissioned by Dundee Design Festival. And essentially, the feedback from participants in coming to the installation was that they found it so liberating to be able to kind of touch the materials, the sustainable materials, and have tangible, real examples rather than kind of like big theoretical conversations about sustainability. Okay, so this floor finish is made from mushrooms and I could put it in my kitchen. I'm like, yes, you can. So it was a really kind of lovely, it was so lovely to see people's reactions to these materials. And yeah, I've curated a big selection from a whole range of different suppliers in one place. So it kind of feels like, yeah, it's easier to make these decisions when some of this has been done ahead. So yeah, I often do kind of open studio kind of options for people to come in and have a look at the materials and engage further off the back of feedback from having that kind of bigger scale installation. So I think that I'm there to support, I guess. But yeah, it doesn't have to be like, I don't want it to be kind of an intimidating thing not to make a start on a sustainable home
Yeah.
design. And a huge, very easy win and way to kind of incorporate sustainable design is through reuse, which is so accessible to do. Once there's a
Yeah.
kind of clear vision for the project, you've got the plans, you've got the interior design concept, then incorporating different reuse elements in is a great way to keep costs down and as well as massively keep the carbon footprint to a lower average compared to buying new products in the space as well. So and that involves much less research in terms of the sustainability of the specific material if you
Yeah.
know that it's come from a local supplier secondhand.
Brilliant. Great. So if people want to find you, where can they find you?
So handle is a design stories on Instagram and Facebook, as well as my website is adesignstory.com. Yeah, so that's the best way.
That's brilliant. Alicia, it's fascinating talking to you. I know that we could talk for hours on this because it's such an interesting, involved subject, but thank you for making something that's quite complex, quite straightforward and easy. And all the best with the design story.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much. Cheers now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.